Welcome to Pastor's Corner. If you have not joined us before, I am Pastor Kelly Milne from the Bridgewater New Jerusalem Church in Bridgewater. And this is my colleague, friend, partner in crime,
yes,
Reverend Dr. Donna Keene from the Elmwood New Church, right here in East Bridgewater. And as I said, if you haven't joined us before, we like to dig into all sorts of topics, generally spiritual type topics, or if not, we kind of put a little pastoral twist to it. And the last few weeks, we've been diving into some deeper, I would say deeper topics. We've talked about God, the Holy Spirit, Jesus, and now we would like to kind of stay in that realm and start talking, because this could go on for a couple of our tapings here, the topic of heaven and hell. And wow, there are so many places that we could go with this. And I know you, Donna, had a great place to start. Talking about what our theology refers to as the world of spirits. And that's where we kind of end up or go once we pass and die. And it's there where we really find out our true self and what our true loves are, who we really are, who we are on the inside. There's a lot to it. Is there anything you'd like to add to this introduction?
Sure.
There's a lot. There's just so much.
Well, one of the things that I've always tried to explain to people is I've always believed that we are a body, a human body, and we have a spirit. And I have begun to realize that we are a spirit clothed for a while in a human body.
Yeah.
And once I made that transition, then heaven and hell started looking a little more realistic to me, because our spirit goes to either place.
Correct.
But first goes to a world of spirits. Now, as I said, we are what we love. We have
That's
a
true.
ruling love in our life. And if I become my ruling love, I'm going to turn into a pizza. That's just a joke.
Yes.
Okay.
No, that's not your ruling love.
No, but it's what I love the most as far as food is concerned.
I hear you.
So, but basically speaking, as a therapist, I also believe that we have created for ourselves a persona. It is what we present to the world. And it can have a lot to do with who we are on the inside.
Sure.
But we can also create a persona that's false, that's nicer than we are, or has better manners than we do. And so in this world of the spirits, everything that we've created as a persona goes away. And who we really are on the inside is revealed. We can no longer make believe we are different than what we really are. And as a result, we are able to talk with other spirits in this world, and we have spirits who approach us that are not like-minded or like-loving, so we don't even know they're there.
Right.
And there are other spirits that approach us that are like-minded and like-loving, and they welcome us into their community. And we willingly go because it feels like home for eternity. So I'm kind of interested in this idea of a spiritual world, a world of the spirits, where we become part of a community And if we're like-loving and like-minded, and I'm a good person, and I have acted from that all my life, that's where I'm going to be in heaven. Now, for people who have acted poorly or made decisions that were not very nice, I'm trying to clean it up, they're going to be attracted to people who have done those very same things with their life.
Yep.
Their ruling love might be power, or it might be control, or it might be something other detrimental to their health. And they're going to end up in a community of like-minded and like-loving souls. And that is the worst definition of hell I've ever heard of. Somebody who's totally into controlling everyone else is going to be in a community of everybody who wants to control everybody else.
Right. Right. And even just this little snippet of what you just said, we could unpack for probably an hour
Sure.
or so. So let me ask you this. While we're here, we should be working on this inner self.
Yes.
We should be working on who we truly are. I know that in the past, I've acted one way in this situation. I've acted another way in this situation. It's still me, but it's how I'm presenting myself differently. So what we need to do is we need to work on our inner self. So we can change.
Yep.
We can create a better inner self
Yes.
through prayer,
Yes.
through study,
Meditation. Yep.
So it's not like in this one moment we are stuck
Oh, no.
as to where we go.
Right.
We can change that. If we don't like what we're seeing or what we're feeling,
And we can do what I call reforming our lives.
right?
There's a wonderful idea that we are what we are and nobody can change. Well, that's not true, because one of the things that brings about change in us is to look to God and let God in. And I like to talk about co-creating our future. Because if I insist on thinking that I am in charge and I am the only person, the only part of myself that can do anything, that's not true, first of all, but it also is just an example of self-love. And as Jesus said, the two greatest commandments are to love God first, and then love the neighbor as yourself.
Exactly.
So, first thing I decided a long time ago was to aim my life toward God. But God leaves us free to choose good or evil. And my constant image that I like to talk with people about is, in my mind, Jesus is standing about on a clock face around
10 o'clock?
10 o'clock, about 20 feet away from me, and he's going over here, this way. And I'm sitting here at the center of the clock face. I can go anywhere. And if I decide to go in his direction, life turns out really well.
Doesn't it?
And if I decide I'm going to be stubborn and go over towards 2 o'clock, oftentimes it doesn't work out that well. And he's constantly there.
Right.
This way, over here, this is the way. So he leaves us free to choose.
Right.
And that's why we have to be aware of what we love.
That's very true. That's very true.
And He will not change us without our cooperation.
That's right.
It's a hard lesson to learn.
It's a hard lesson to learn. It's one that we have to learn over and over again. In fact, I had just made some big decisions and found out that, nope, it's not the right decision for me. So when I made that second decision that it wasn't right, that I had kind of gone off the path just a tiny bit, and I would say not very much. But then deciding with a whole lot of prayer that I needed to not have made that original decision, I just felt the world lift off my shoulders. So that was the right decision.
Right.
So all these decisions that we make and these changes that we want to make, and this goes along perfectly with Lent.
Yes.
We
oh,
are
yes.
recording this during Lent. And I just preached on the things that we need to do. And I had 4 steps. And this is a good place for our 4 steps to help us change, to help us reform.
Yep.
So my first step that I talked about was to examine ourselves, to look at ourselves. And I know you also preached on this as well, but I really think that's so important for us to look at ourselves. This is not a one-shot deal. This is a examine ourselves over and over again.
I like to create an illusion of imagine yourself as a going concern. They take inventory. What's working? What isn't? Who is going to be employed or let go?
Sure, sure.
We need to look at the good things in ourselves as well as the not so good things.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and that's what the whole taking inventory is, you know. And then I think that next step, if I can remember correctly, you know, was praying, was coming to the Lord or to God or what you call your supreme being in prayer.
Yep.
And getting help to figure out what am I doing, where am I going, you know. And we've got to reform our thoughts, our actions.
Yep.
Our thoughts and actions, here we go. We're going off on all these tangents and branches of this topic.
Yeah.
And yeah, that reforming, that reformation is so important. Again, not a one-shot deal.
No.
It's all a process.
Right.
And it's a process for us to get to heaven, or
The
that
other-
world of spirits at
Yes.
least, which we will continue when we come back.
Jessica, we need to leave right now.
I need to get something. Dance recitals are so boring.
There's a meaning no one knows. Wait until we set
So,
free.
what's the empty suitcase for?
The grand prize trophy.
Duh.
Confidence. Pass it on.
I was born to be somebody.
Will it be, boys?
Well, I need to get rid of some hair.
You're gonna look so good.
Oh, man.
Got a date?
I hope so.
What do you think?
Shorter, please.
More like it?
Shorter.
That would be a shave.
Go for it. Can't believe he's doing it. Our work here is done, gentlemen.
I will drive.
being there. Pass it on.
Please?
Yes.
Welcome back. So,
Back to heaven and hell.
the light topic that we're discussing today. So, we very briefly have talked about heaven, how we can get there, heaven and hell, it's about our inner being, our true inner self. And when we're in this world of spirits, and I relate this to the mall. We come in to the world of spirits on that main level. No stairs, no ramps, no nothing. We just come in on that main level. Here we are, gathering, talking, figuring ourselves out. And either we get to go to the second level, heaven, or we go to the basement, which is hell. Not a pleasant place for people who belong in heaven.
Right.
And that's how I always explain to kids, adults, elderly, everyone. How do I, what is heaven? What is hell? Where I'm going to be, God willing, is where I'm a good person. I'm going to be with other people who are like me, whether I'm considered good or bad when I get there. But I will be with people who are like me, and that other side, that's my hell. I can't. I am not going to be happy there. I'm not going to do well there. That's hell to me.
A few notes.
Please.
Okay. We first go into the world of the spirits.
Correct.
So no one in heaven or hell is allowed to have a divided mind.
Right.
They cannot think one way and act another. We
Not.
are explicitly who we are.
That's an earthly thing.
Yes. In heaven, a person who desires to do good will, and I can't read my own writing,
Oh, wonderful.
and will understand what is true. In hell, a person who intends to do evil will understand only what is false.
Correct.
So good, true, evil, false.
Yes.
Okay. In the world of the spirits, false notions and ideas are removed from basically good people and replaced with true ones. And true ideas are removed from evil people and replaced with false ideas that match their evil intentions. So now we've got not only ideas, but also our intentions, which is the way we're going to act.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So how we act here. We could have all these intentions that are so good. And I think we all do.
Yeah.
I think we all say, oh, yeah, I'm going to send a card to someone who's not feeling well. Our intentions are fantastic. And what happens? Life gets in the way.
Yeah, we don't follow through.
We don't always follow through.
Right.
And I think that, that's being human.
Right.
But going in the world of spirits, it gets stripped. And our true being takes over.
Yeah.
Takes over.
There are people who believe very strongly and emotionally and passionately that they can be saved in heaven no matter what they do here. And
Yep.
I just don't believe that somebody who believes they've already been saved to go to heaven can continue to act in any other way while they're here and still make that trip to heaven, because it's so false. You know, it's a hard sell to believe this, that there is a world of spirits and we are going to become exactly who we are on the inside. Our core being is going to be revealed. And so we can no longer waltz around making believe that we're something that we're not.
Right. And as I was saying previously, there's no one-shot deal for this. We have to do the work. We have to show who we are, whether we are good or whether we are not. And the previous minister at our church, this is stuck in my head. She would always say, do good, shun evil. And those 4 words have just stuck. And it's true. It's true. We can't just one time say, yep, I believe Jesus did this, I believe God did this, I believe in this, so I'm going to go to heaven and I don't have to do anything else. No.
Yeah.
That's not how it works, and that's biblically based as well.
Well, the 10 Commandments were given to us as a rule of how we should behave.
Right.
And I still love George Dole's comment to me, one of our professors, who said, if you believe the first commandment, which is to love God, you won't want to do any of the other things because you'll be so full of God's love.
Right.
And that makes more sense to me rather than somebody standing there going, you shall not. No, you won't want to.
Right.
And I think that's the shunning of evils. You know, during Lent, I always think in terms of, why did Jesus come here? Why did God incarnate into this baby and then grow up into a mature human being and do his preaching and teaching and healing and rising from the dead? Because I anthropomorphize him and say to myself, there's 400 years between the end of the Old Testament and the beginning of the New Testament. And I think God got frustrated with us.
Again.
I gave them all they needed to know, and they still screw up. I guess I'm going to have to go show them how to do it.
Right.
Okay, I can buy that. And everything he does in his ministry is pointing toward good or evil. And constantly, when people experience miracles that he does, he says to them, your faith has healed you. But he can feel power go out from him when somebody touches his clothing. And he's aware constantly of who he is and what he's doing in this world. And he knew that he could erase all of the evil by the snap of a finger, but he didn't, because we have to be co-creators with him.
Right.
We have to have the faith. We have to have the belief. And only then can he come into our lives and help to regenerate us.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Again, it's a process. And we are part of that process.
Yep.
It's not a one-sided
No,
deal.
and it's really difficult to explain to people unless we're sitting here on a television set and we have a captive audience called the camera that's not talking back to us.
True.
And it's not asking questions. But at some point in time, people do ask questions.
Yes, absolutely.
There's a wonderful sign on a wayside pulpit that says, inquire within every question you ever had about heaven and hell and were afraid to ask.
Fantastic.
Because I think people are afraid to ask.
Sure. It's the unknown. And are afraid of the unknown.
Yep.
for
And we
sure.
don't like change.
I'm going to agree with that wholeheartedly. Something that I think comes up when we talk about heaven and hell, and things I think people in general want to know is, are we going to know our loved ones? And will we be with them? So I see this as a very human question, because I think when we get to the world of spirits and we're determining that ruling love, what is that thing that's really driving us? If your most favorite uncle in the whole world has a completely different love, even though you think he was up on this pedestal and was fantastic, we don't know what other people's ruling love is,
Right.
and we won't. So I did read in, actually, a book called Heaven and Hell.
It's amazing, yes.
It's a wonderful book. And it said that we will recognize our
Yes.
loved ones. We can chat with them.
Yep.
We're just not going to be with them. We may
Maybe.
not. We
Maybe.
may, we may not. But
Right.
if that ruling love is so different and divided, and we're thinking with our human brains, oh, I'm going to be so sad and upset. No, because it's peace.
Yep.
It's where we are meant to be, and we can't understand
No.
with our human brains all of that.
No.
So,
But we can do research,
absolutely.
and we can explore
We should.
different ways of being in the world. I know I was in the business world for 14 years before I got ordained, and I did not like any part of it. And I just knew I was in the wrong place,
Right.
and I needed to do something else with my life.
Yeah.
So basically, if we pay attention to those little messages from the universe, we will get where we're supposed to be.
Right.
But a lot of people don't want to pay attention because they've got an agenda of being like their parents, or, trying to make money, or not going down a path that they don't see any use in. And all of a sudden, they're unhappy.
Yeah. Our time has quickly come to an end.
Yes, it has, but I'm sure we will come back to this topic.
And I think we should. And I know that we do have an email address that
Yeah.
will probably scroll at some point down there somewhere. And this is a great topic. I think we could talk for hours on it.
And we will.
So thank you again for joining us.
Yes.
And we'll see you next time.
Great.
Thank you.